Does alcohol offer some health benefits, or is it at all bad for your health? What effect does too much alcohol consumption have on your heart? Joining us is Dr. Claudine Lewis. She's cardiologist of the Heart Center, and she's going to bring things into more perspective. Good morning, Doc. How are you doing?
Good morning, Dahlia. I'm good, thank you. How are
I
you?
am great. Thank you for joining us. So
Thank you for inviting me.
listen, Doc, it's the conversation that keeps going, because sometimes people say, a little alcohol is good for the soul, it's good for the system, and then others will say no, don't. So you're saying moderation is what is best.
Well, I haven't said anything yet, Dahlia.
Are you saying, can you say, what is it? Talk to me.
All right, so the first thing I'm going to say is that alcohol is a drug. So let's just put that out there. And so, just like every drug, you have to deal with a dose. And so, there's a dose that may be okay for you, and there's a dose that may be too much for you. And so the first thing I'm going to say is there may be some benefits to alcohol in small doses, but if you do not drink alcohol, do not start just to get those benefits.
Oh, okay. All right, fair enough.
So so I'm going to start by just sharing a little bit about, what one drink of alcohol is, because when we talk about alcohol and its effects on the heart, and it's not just the heart. Alcohol has effects on all of the body's organs, the liver. It can lead to cancers, throat cancers, etc. And of course, there is the mental effects if you're abusing alcohol. So depression, abuse of family members, etc. So alcohol, if not used carefully, it's something we enjoy. We like how we feel when we have a little bit of alcohol and we get that little buzz. But just like every drug, if you're taking too much, the dose is too high, it can be dangerous for you in many ways. So, what's one drink? I'm not going to use any brands, but let's say a beer. It depends on the percentage of alcohol by volume that the particular beverage has. So, the higher the percentage, the smaller amount you need to drink. So, one dose or one drink would be like considered 8 ounces of or 12 ounces of beer. That's about 6% by volume. You have some beers that are lighter, 4%, then you can drink more to have one drink. And then that would be equivalent to maybe 4 ounces of wine and 1.5 ounces of 80 proof rum. And by proof, we're talking about the percentage. So 40% alcohol by volume is about 80 proof. So, in Jamaica, we like our overproof rum. And I'm a girl who is from Dumfries, near to Hamden, went to Hamden Primary School near to the rum factory. And so overproof rum is something that is very, very familiar to us. You know what they call the JB.
Yes. Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. It took a while to register a while ago, but I can't say the full name on your
No,
television. But yes, we all know what we're talking about. So when you're gonna do JB, you're doing overproof. So you're doing 50% by volume or more. So of course, the quantity that you take will have to be much smaller. So we're looking at less than an ounce, half an ounce. So, the men who are in the rum shop and they're hitting back, they take a whole, bottle of either the J and W or the or the
yes.
Appleton or whatever, and they're having drinks with their friends and they're just knocking them back. Of course, that's going to be a problem. So yeah, so that was the first thing I wanted us to
To
get
be
clear
clear
about
on.
what a drink is.
Yeah.
Yes, so the recommendation in terms of what is considered moderate would be, and it depends on whether you're male or female. So gender actually plays a role here. So women, because we tend to have a lower muscle mass, lower fat mass, we cannot drink as much as the men. And there are also genetic factors. So people who are of Asian origin, Chinese, etc., they break down alcohol in a different way. Some of them may be missing an enzyme that helps to break down alcohol, so they may not be able to tolerate as much as someone else. So there are lots of different factors that determine how much is actually safe for us. But in general, it's recommended one drink for a woman. So that would be like one beer or a glass of wine or a shot of rum per day. And do not exceed that. And
Yes.
for men, two drinks.
2 drinks. All the men
Yes.
just went, oh.
I know, right? So before we run out of time, I want to talk about some of the myths and the facts as it relates to alcohol and the heart. So, we like to attach to the things that are really good, that give us buzz. So we like to see in the newspaper, yes, drinking a glass of wine a day keeps your arteries clear. And so that came about because in 1904, there was some sort of observational study that showed that people who were drinking red wine in particular had a lower incidence or lower rates of atherosclerosis or blocked arteries. And so it became popular that, maybe alcohol might be good for you because it protects you from blocked arteries. But what they didn't look at is what else was happening to people who were being studied or looked at. And essentially what they found when you actually go back and look back at the data is that they were actually having healthy heart lifestyles. So they were walking a lot. They were eating a lot of fiber and fresh fruit. So it's not just it's the people who they were looking at in this study are people who lived in the Mediterranean, who, the French, with every meal they're having a glass of wine, but they're also having lots of fresh vegetables and fish and those kinds of things. And they're walking and so on. So it's hard to tease out exactly the role of the alcohol versus the benefits of all the other things that come with that sort of lifestyle.
Yes. Yes, so you have to be careful. And then
Yes.
there are actual instances when you should avoid it altogether. One of them being
Yes, for
when you're,
sure.
yes, so share some of those with me, please, Doc.
So before I go into that, I want to talk about some of the effects of alcohol on the heart. So it beyond the one drink that we recommend for a woman and two for a man, if you have more than that, it helps to push up your blood pressure. So it can contribute to high blood pressure. And high blood pressure puts a lot of strain on the heart. It's the most common reason for hypertension, for heart damage in Jamaica, actually, I would say. So you don't want anything that's going to contribute to your risk of hypertension. Outside of that, alcohol directly damages your heart muscle and make the heart muscle weak. So whereas it may have a slight benefit in protecting you from the buildup of plaque inside the arteries, the deleterious effects or the harmful effects are actually more than the beneficial effects. So increases blood pressure and damages the heart muscle and can cause your heart muscle to be weak. So I see patients with heart failure. That's when your heart is not pumping at the normal strength. The normal pumping function of the heart is somewhere between 55 to 75%. Nobody gets 100. So even bright girl like you, Dahlia, you wouldn't get 100. So if you do an echo, don't be disappointed if you get 65. That's a good mark. But we see patients coming in or people coming in who have symptoms and signs of heart failure, such as shortness of breath, leg swelling, etc. And when you go back in the history, it's actually alcoholic damage. There's nothing else that may have put them at risk. But when you get that history, how much alcohol do you have every day? And they will say, oh, but I'm not an alcoholic. So that's the first point they
I'm
would
a
tell you. I'm not
social
alcoholic.
drinker.
I'm a social drinker. And I said, well, you know what? I'm not here to judge you. It's not about, determining whether you're alcoholic or not. I just want to know how much you drink. When you go to the rum bar, you have a queue, so on and so forth. I just have put together some facts now. I don't want to hear about you're alcoholic or you're not alcoholic. So it damages the heart, causes the heart to be weak. If you do have heart failure, definitely you have to avoid it because it's very difficult for us to treat you and get you out of heart failure if you're still having alcohol.
Alcoholic. Thank you so much, Doc. You've given us so much information. Very useful. Thank you so much. We got to have you back to talk some more about heart health. Can't talk too much about that. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Dr.
Have a
Claude.
good day.
Thank you, Dr. Claudine Lewis, cardiologist at the Heart Smart Center. Up next, the benefits of turmeric. Listen out for it in the fight against COVID-19. We're going to talk with Salada Foods, Jamaica Limited. Soon come back.